Hello YouTube. So tonight I'm gonna rank all the Final Destination movies. Before I get started, this will contain some spoilers. So I highly recommend watching all the Final Destination movie first before coming to my channel and watch my ranking. Anyways, let me get started. So my least favorite of the franchise has to be the fifth one. I know, a lot of people like this one, but to me it's just my least favorite because some of the kills are pretty lame. Some um, like I said, like I hate when they use CGI on a lot of the kills. So there's that, and there's a few good positives about this movie. Like the premonition scene, of course, is always awesome, especially that one with the bridge going down. That one was really cool, and also kind of like the story arc about this one, and how you could cheat death by taking another life. That was interesting. And what else? I would admit they did have some good kills, even though it was CGI. And I definitely like the final act of this movie, or the ending with the airplane. That was a really nice callback to the original Final Destination. So even though this is my least favorite, it has its good moments. Now my fifth favorite has to be the fourth one. I don't know why a lot of people. Well, I mean, I know why. The CGI or the 3D effects is really horrible. But for me, this is a guilty pleasure of mine. Much like Saw 3D. Um, yeah, the CGI, I won't argue that like it's one of the worst, but I have to admit, like it does contain a lot of good kills, and this is one of like the funniest out of all the Final Destination movie. It's like they didn't even try their best. It just like they're just trying to make a fun Final Destination movie, and I think it's pretty funny was the stereotypical um horror movie characters or from like slasher films. You got the jock, you got the the horny MILF, and well, I mean she wasn't really horny, but you know um what else? You got a nice satisfying kill from a racist, so that's always cool to watch. And like I said, the movie, even though like the CGI of the 3D effects is really bad, it has a lot of good kills. A lot of good kills. Honestly, I think it's one of the best of the franchise in my opinion. Aside for a few ones I about to mention. Now for my fourth favorite has to be Final Destination Bloodlines. I know a lot of people is ranking this really high, but if I had to give my strong opinion, I have to say like this one is really awesome. And if you haven't seen my review, I rank this I still give it a pretty good ranking, but I really didn't like the heavy use of the CGI. Like I understand like the tower premonition scene is it's understandable, to make that CGI. But even then they could have made it look a little bit more realistic. But yeah, the other scenes, like they could have definitely used practical effects and would have been a lot better. But I did like the storyline and a lot of good callbacks in that movie. And there's also like some interesting um how you say it, like there's a lot of interesting things about this movie. And in conclusion, I had a lot of fun. Let's see what else. My third favorite has to be, I would have to say the original Final Destination. Now, when I first saw the movie, I was mind blown, like of how crazy it is. And it was really violent when I first watched it. I first watched it when I was 7 years old, and I just remember like how violent it was. But it was really entertaining. I had a lot of fun with the first one. I thought it was, at that time was very well directed. The whole plot was really nice. It was definitely like different, very unique at that time. But after rewatching it, I didn't thought it was as violent as the other ones. So I think that's why I kind of ranked it a little bit low. Well, it's not that low, but it's not. It used to be like my second favorite, but now it's my third favorite. And I think the reason why, like I said, like it's not as violent as those other ones. Like the teacher's death. I forgot her name. She still has like the best kill of one of the entire franchise. Her death was definitely overkill, and a few other ones as well. It still has one of the best ending in my opinion. So next has to be these two is really hard, but I have to say the second Final Destination has to be my second favorite. The Premonition is still the best in this one with the whole highway accident. Oh my god! Like when I first saw that, I was completely mind blown. Um, the effects, I don't know what they used, but like it seems really realistic. I feel like, you know, movies in general should take notes from previous like movies like that or previous action movies where they didn't use a lot of CGI. I mean, they of course they use CGI, but what I mean like at that time for me it seemed more realistic. Nowadays, like a lot of CGI looks like more like a video game, but the CGI that they use in this movie is fucking amazing. It's still one of the best, and a lot of the kills is practical, so that's always nice too. But this movie was also a bit of a slow burn, and that was another issue with the first film. Like there were some moments where it was just kind of slow, and it took a while to get to the next death, and it has a lot of dialogue. But aside from that, the movie is still really good, really fun. Now, my first favorite, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I had to say Final Destination 3 is my favorite. And at first, I didn't like it as much as I liked the second one. But after rewatch, I just can't believe how much I enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, I only saw the movie twice. The first time I saw it in theaters, and I really loved it. But after that, I just kind of like almost forget about it, just like everyone else. This is like the most forgettable movie, and now after a rewatch, I think it's like the most underrated movie of the franchise. I mean, the most underrated installment, and I really love this one. The kills were really nice. The CGI wasn't that bad. Yeah, they could have made like the premonition scene a little bit better, but you know, it's not easy to make like a fictional accident look really realistic, especially if it takes place at a theme park. But yeah. Aside from that, the movie has like some of the best kills of the franchise, and some of the one of the best protagonists of the franchise. I also really like Kimberly in the second one. I believe that she's like the only survivor that survived out of the whole franchise. But yeah, the I forget her name. I think her name is Wendy, played by fuck, I forgot her name. I always forget her name, but I like her in other movies as well. Yeah. So that's my list. I hope you enjoy and you'll have a good night and enjoy your life because life is precious.